sit, looking out on another gloomy day in Nashville, Tennessee. The weather matches my mood because I am abandoned. I am left with only my thoughts. I am a wheelchair sitting alone at the entrance of the once infamous Tennessee State Penitentiary. I was once needed and deemed useful, but now I'm called a piece of junk, and here I sit looking out, always looking out. Welcome to another episode of This Happened Here. On this channel, I take you around the US and to any other country I feel has fantastic stories I would like to share. Today, I want to share the story of the Tennessee State Prison. Today's video is going to be a short one. We drove to Nashville hoping to tour the now abandoned 800-cell Tennessee State Prison, but we were told that viewing and touring were not allowed. In fact, we were only allowed to view the prison from beyond the train lines, which was over 100 feet away. While we were there, in under 10 minutes, we saw 4 other cars being turned away by the feisty security guard, who by now was tired of people trying to willingly get into prison, unlike those of the past. The Tennessee State Prison began accepting inmates on January 1st, 1831, with 200 cells. The women's wing was later added, and they registered their first female inmate in 1840. Back then, this prison was known as the Tennessee State Penitentiary. In 1863, the Union Army took control of the penitentiary and used it as a military prison. That was the start of the overpopulation. After overcrowding got so bad, they had to demolish the original penitentiary and use prison labor to build a larger prison. This cost $12.3 million. And they built this new one with 800 microcells, equipped for 1 inmate. After rebuilding what we see here, it got the name The Walls and The Castle. It sits on 120 acres. This was quote-unquote purchased by the government from Mark Cockrell, an inmate of the prison. Along with the prison cells and officers' quarters, they built factories and farm inside the prison walls and had inmates work there. The prison was notorious for not only the type of inmates they housed there, but also for what they did to the inmates. Inmates could not make eye contact and were not allowed to communicate with each other, let alone friends and families on the outside. At one point in 1866, the prison leased the entire inmate population on a contract to businesses to exploit for cheap labor. They would work the inmates 16 hours a day. Before the new prison was built, overcrowding got so bad that it forced the authorities to house the women and men together. Children or young adults were housed among the adults, and if anyone misbehaved, they would get a lashing from a stinging whip. There were many deaths at this prison due to overcrowding and inmates dying from diseases. And over 100 people were put to death in state-ordered executions, and some took their own lives, thinking that death would be better than continuing to live in that prison. One of the inmates of the Tennessee State Prison was James Earl Ray, the man who was found guilty of killing Martin Luther King Jr. He was sent there after leaving Brushy Mountain and stayed until the day he died. I did a video about his escape from Brushy Mountain. You can find that video here. Very interesting. Then in 1892, the penitentiary closed its doors due to overcrowding again. There is so much information about the population and how unjust it was, but I might visit that story later. It's a little depressing. The prison has now been partially destroyed by years of neglect and weather, like the tornado on March 3rd, 2020, which hit it with such force it destroyed the 1.5-inch thick wall and sent bricks flying over 40 feet away. But even after that, it still looks like a master architectural design with its castle-like structures. We made this stop because not only did it house some guilty and innocent men and women and children, but it was also the location for many famous movies, concerts, and music videos. After the prison closed its doors, it was the location for films such as Nashville, 1975.
All right, I want to hear some more from my Mississippi Mountain Boys. Now I got a couple announcements I want to make, and the first one is we got some stars here tonight. And one of them is Tommy Brown's back in town. Tommy Brown, stand up and show it all. Oh, ain't he beautiful?
Ernest Goes to Jail, 1990.
Young man, could you please open that gate? I left my car running outside.
Ma'am, can you tell me how you got to this gate? The visitors area is on the other side of the prison.
I brought him up as best I could, but sometimes a bad seed falls from even the most fragile flower.
Against the Wall, 1994. Last Dance, 1996.
You probably think you know everything about me. You think I want to die? I do not want to die, okay? But if I die, it's going to be on my terms. You got that? My terms.
The Green Mile, 1999.
Why would you do such a foolish thing?
On the day of my judgment, when I stand before God, and he asks me, why did I kill one of his true miracles? What am I going to say? That it was my job. It's my job.
You tell God the Father it was a kindness you done.
The Last Castle, 2001.
Okay, then.
No, not okay. It's too late, Colonel.
It's too late for what?
For your offer. The men don't want to salute. They don't want to use rank. They don't want better food. They don't want more TV. They just want your resignation. So do I.
My resignation.
You're a disgrace, Colonel. A disgrace to the uniform. You should not be allowed to retain your command.
Well, then I better go pack.
I think you should.
Walk the Line, 2005.
Really?
Like that. Please surrender. What was I thinking? I must have been crazy. Y'all gonna blow this tour. You can't walk no line.
And Unconditional 4, 2012.
Once upon a time, there was a little boy and his best friend.
Why you always mess with all that jaw and store stuff? Why you always wearing your pajamas in public? For the last time, these are not pajamas, all right? I am going to be a samurai warrior. one of a kind.
Time passed, and the little boy and his best friend, they grew up, and they grew apart. And like so many of us in life.
Johnny and June Cash, along with Loretta Lynn and Roy Clark, performed there. Also, Sleeper Agent was allowed to do a video there. Here is that clip.
Oh my, oh. You were gonna say so. You would try to say you're mine. Oh my, oh. I'm not cold, I'm just shaking it a little like the kids make. I bet you get burned. Well, I'ma get burned.
All in all, it was not a total loss. The research I had to do on this place was very interesting, and I learned a lot, like finding out that this happened here. Well, as usual, it was fun hanging with you guys, and if you want to hang out again later, click the subscribe button and I will leave you a seat. If you like any part of this video, tap that like button so I can know if these are things you want to see. And if you think of anyone who would like this video, share it, okay? Thanks always to my longtime subscribers and those who watched the last few videos. I love hanging out with you. And for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. Anywho, that's all for today. Take care of your sweet self, and I will catch you on the next one. Love you, bye.